pain. So much pain. All right. No. That's one too many times. Nope, wrong music. There we go. Alrighty, welcome back to Brown's Breakdowns. Proud partners here of Fanatical Elves Network, Fans First Sports Network. Trying to get the NFL. Just trying to get our 5 normal power rankings here so that we have something to base it off. I've only got 4 this time. Actually, no, I have 5. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so welcome back to Brown's Breakdowns, proud partners of Fanatical Elves Network, Fans First Sports Network. So, Browns lose again. This isn't shocking. This shouldn't be shocking, because unfortunately, this is kind of just what's happening right now. But before we get into the depression, let's get to what's the opposite of depression? Happiness, joy, whatever. Boom, right there. Actually, really close this time. Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Please go check them out. They make some of the best coffee you will ever have in your entire life. And I know that because most coffee people buy is not actually that good. It usually comes from bulk farmers who don't even interact with the shop owners. This coffee, they shake the hand of the farmer. They are there. They inspect the crop. They make sure it's up to their standards. Best coffee you will ever have in your entire life. Please go check them out. If you use that referral code right there, it's a little actually over here, we get 15%. So please do go check them out. Now on to that's the wrong game. Browns and Commanders game. So I'll leave this up for actually no, I think we'll put it back down. Actually, let's bring it the funny word. There you go. So Browns, yeah, we suck. Let's just get into the player stats quickly. I left my water bottle. Hold on, guys. I set my water bottle down somewhere that wasn't in reach, and I forgot it. I apologize for that. Alrighty, Commanders. So Jade Daniels was 14 for 25 for 238, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was okay. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't bad either. He has some very good running as well. Marcus Mariota had 1 completion for 3 attempts for a -2 yards, but we don't really care about that. Jane Daniels was also their leading rusher. He was 11 for 82. Austin Eckler was 6 for 67. Jeremy McNichols was 7 for 44 with 1 touchdown. And then Brian Robinson was 7 for 18 with 2 touchdowns. So the running game was the big problem. Terry McLaurin, a very consistent fantasy player. He's good. He's not amazing. He's not bad either. He's pretty good. He was 4 for 112. De'Ami Brown was 2 for 57 and a touchdown. Austin Eckler was 2 for 30. Luke McCaffrey was 3 for 19. On to defense. 2.5 sacks from Frankie Lavu. We'll get into the offensive line later. Jonathan Allen had a sack. Bobby Wagner had 1.5 sacks. Dorrance Armstrong had a sack, and Dante Fowler Jr. had a sack. And there were no interceptions, really. That sounds weird. But here we go with the Commander stats. Now we'll get into the offensive line in a minute once we're through with all the statistics of the game. On to the passing game for the Browns. Passing game, more like throwing the football and hoping it actually connects with a wide receiver. That was what that was. Deshaun Watson was 15 for 28, 125, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. James Winston was 1 for 1 for 16. Jerome Ford was 9 for 47. Donta Foreman 9 for 44, and Deshaun Watson was 3 for 14. Amari Cooper was 4 for 60. Jordan Akins was 3 for 22 and that sole touchdown. Donta Foreman 1 for 16. Jerry Jeudy 1 for 16. David Njoku, who was back, which was nice, 1 for 14, and Elijah Moore 3 for 11. On to defense. Jeremiah Wuzakoromora who I think is injured right now. I'll check. He was 1 sack, 1 interception. Let me pull Jeremiah Uzakoromora. There we go. We'll see if I can't get an injury report on him. I think he's going to be fine, but we'll see. He's a good player. I'm really glad we have him. Now let's keep going on the stats though. 1 sack from Zadarius Smith, and that was it defensively. On to team stats. Browns were at 212 total yards, abysmal. 434 for the Commanders. We were 108 passing yards. They were 219. We were 104 rushing yards. They were 215. We were 3.6 yards per play. They were 6.7 yards per play. On to first downs, we had 12, which is really bad. 12, they had 19. We were 1 for 13 on third down, and they were 8 for 17, which is really good. We were 2 for 3 on fourth down. They were 2 for 2. 59 total plays for the Browns, 65 for the Commanders. 7 sacks allowed for the Browns, only 3 allowed for the Commanders. 7 punts, they only had 4. 9 for 52 in penalties, 5 for 31. 1 fumble loss for each team, and the Commanders had 1 interception. We had 28 minutes and 42 seconds of possession. They had 31 minutes and 18 seconds. So those are the statistics for the game. Again, final score 13-34. It just wasn't a good game. So now that since we're in a statistics kind of mindset, let's do our power rankings. So looking at the this is Pro Football Talks on NBC. Chiefs are number 1. I don't like the Chiefs right now. Lions are number 2, which is weird. Vikings are number 3. Texans are 4. Commanders are 5. Ravens 6. Packers 7. Falcons 8. Buccaneers 9. Bills 10. Cowboys are 11. Steelers are 12, by the way. Where are all the other teams? Bengals are 24. And the Browns are number 30, ahead of the Patriots and the Panthers. And then the Bengals are 24. Where are the Steelers? I missed them. Oh, number 12. All right. On to NBC, or no, CBS, I mean. We have for them the Chiefs 1, Vikings 2, Texans 3, Lions 4, Ravens 5. They have the Cowboys at 9, the Steelers at 15. Where are the Bengals? Bengals 24, and the Browns at 30. Again, Patriots are 31, and the Panthers are 32. On to NFL.com. They have Vikings 1, Chiefs 2, Lions 3, Houston Texans 4, Ravens 5. And then they have the Steelers at 10, Cowboys at 13. And they have where are the Bengals? The Bengals are at 24. This is NFL.com, by the way. And the Browns are 30, with the Patriots at 31 and Panthers at 32 again. This is ESPN. So we have Chiefs 1, Vikings 2, Texans 3, Lions 4, Ravens 5. They have the Cowboys at 10. They have the Steelers at 15. And they have the Bengals at 24, which seems to be the trend here, is Bengals 24. Cleveland Browns 30. And go figure, Panthers actually are 31. And then Patriots are 32. On to the final one, which is Yahoo Sports. They have Patriots 32, Panthers 31, and the Browns are 30. This is really, really painful, that because Yahoo Sports, by the way, if you didn't know, starts at 32 and then goes down to 1. It really sucks seeing your team as the first thing you see. Now I have to try and scroll all the way to our top 10. They have the Vikings at 2, so Chiefs are 1, Lions 3, Ravens 4, Houston Texans 5. And then they have the Cowboys at 12, Steelers at 13. Bengals are at 20 here. So if you want my power rankings, it goes Vikings 1, Chiefs 2, Lions 3, Texans 4, and I have the Ravens as our top 5. I have the Steelers at 14. I have the Bengals at 20. Yeah, Bengals at 25, and I have the Browns at 31. I have the final 3 going Panthers, Browns, Patriots. So I have us worse than the Patriots, which is kind of crazy because everyone has the Patriots worse than us. But I have the Browns at number 31. And if you read this title right here, I'm just trying to angle my water bottle right there, that title, you can understand where I come from. Unfortunately, that is not spiked water. I wish it was. I'm kidding. I'm underage. I can't drink. But anyway, before we get into my opinions and stuff and not stats and things, let us do some advertisements. So we will be right back. And welcome back to Browns Breakdowns, proud partners, Fanatical Elves Network. So now we're going to get, if you didn't hear, I have the Browns at 31 as our power rankings. They look to be 30. I think they were 30 for all five. And then the Panthers and the Patriots varied between 31 and 32. But the Browns are number 30. I have them at 31. I have the Patriots at 30. The Browns at 31 and the Carolina Panthers at 32. It's really hard to be worse than the Panthers, I'll tell you that. So let's move on to my opinion and my observations from the game. I don't know what happened other than we sucked. If you look at, especially, we'll get into the offensive line in just a second because I want to talk about that a little further. One, Deshaun Watson played really bad. That's normal. Now, of course, offensive line, yes. Stefanski didn't call a great game. The defense was fine, right? The defense wasn't bad. Again, the defense got unlucky that they're stationed with the worst offense in the NFL at the moment. And so they're trying to, I've said it a million times, I won't say it very much, but again, they're going on the field on a total of 100 snaps. They're going on the field 70 of them because our offense just can't get out there. They're 3 and out every single drive instantly. Don't even make it past the 45 almost all the time. So now Deshaun Watson, again, he had a lot of trouble. The offensive line did not play good. 7 sacks is abysmal. That is one of the worst sacks games I think it's the worst of the entire year. It just isn't good, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do about that. Now, Deshaun Watson is not playing good. And again, I would like to reiterate that Nick Chubb being gone is not helping at all, because what that does is it makes the run game not a threat. The run game isn't a threat because we don't have a wide receiver, so they can just they don't have to fill the box. They can blitz 3 if they want to, because they know there is little to no threat of Nick Chubb, or let me rephrase, little to no threat of the running game actually being a thing they need to worry about. And that's why people seem to have forgotten that you use the run to set up the pass, right? You use the run, you run on first down, right? And so they're like, okay, they ran. Then you run again, and they're like, all right, let's fill up the box. So let's blitz 5 instead of 4. And then you throw it over their head for 15 yards, and you repeat the cycle over and over and over again, more or less. That's just kind of the dumbed down version of what I'm saying. And when you don't have that run to set up the pass, when they're like, what are they going to do? Run for 1 yard? We're going to blitz 3, drop back 9, or no, 8, drop back 8, and have the whole field covered, and there's nothing they can do about it. You're screwed. Which is why when Nick Chubb gets back, now I'm not saying Nick Chubb's going to fix everything. Nick Chubb is by no means going to fix everything. But what Nick Chubb is going to do is he's going to help a little bit, because people are going to actually, finally, have to take into consideration the capabilities of our run game, because they're actually going to have to worry about Nick Chubb being a threat. They're going to actually have to worry about they won't be able to drop back 8 every single play, because they know the run game isn't going to go anywhere. They'll actually have to worry about him coming in on a 3rd and 3 and getting all 3 yards. They're going to have to worry about him coming on a first down. They're going to have to worry about that stuff, which they aren't worrying about right now. And I think that's going to change a lot. Or I think that's going to change stuff. It's not going to change a lot. But offensive line, right? Let's talk about the offensive line. It's really bad right now. We had our tackle come back, who I can't remember the name of for some reason. He came back. He didn't perform very well. Now, again, I'm not making excuses. The Commanders have a very good defensive line. They've had a good defensive line for 3 years now. They had Chase Young, he's gone, but they have a very good defensive line. Bobby Wagner, Jonathan Allen is really good. They have a great defensive line and a good defensive squad. And I know it's not as good as it was a few years ago, but they do have a good defensive squad. And like in Madden, the Commanders are one of the best defensive trade teams because they have like 4 people on defense who are really good and who they're kind of willing to give up in Madden. I know Madden, whatever, but they do have a good defensive line. Of course, I'm not making excuses. The offensive line is really, really bad right now, and I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if a trade is going to help. I don't know if the offensive line is just demoralized. I think that's a big problem right now. I think the locker room is really having trouble right now. I think the offensive linemen are just like, we don't want to block for Deshaun. Can we? Because, I mean, Deshaun does not seem like a leader. He seems not like a great leader, but I think the offensive line has lost their motivation to block for Deshaun Watson. Is that true? I don't know. But that's kind of what it feels like. They kind of are just out there because they have to. And I think all the offensive line, again, I don't know, but I feel like the offensive line really want Jameis Winston in for quarterback right now because Deshaun Watson just isn't it. And Jameis Winston has a good way of buying a locker room. He's really good at surrounding himself in the locker room and making himself a popular figure. And I think when you have a quarterback who's playing as bad as he is, it's really hard for the offensive lineman to be like, look at this guy. This guy's amazing. He's a locker room guy. He's reinvigorating us. He seems like a great guy. Why are we blocking for this bum who can't get more than 175 yards and 1 touchdown a game? Right? Can we please block for the guy who might actually give this team a chance? Again, I don't know. I just want to keep reiterating that. I don't know if that's what's actually happening. But I feel like, I mean, if I was an offensive lineman, right? I'm not. I'm the exact opposite of an offensive lineman. If I was an offensive lineman, though, and this is week 5, right? I've played 5 weeks with a quarterback that has sucked. He's been awful, can't get anything going, constantly. And of course, there's been a lot of injuries, yes. But we just got our tackle back, and that didn't really help. I don't think people want to block for Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't. I know I would be like, come on, guys, let's get Jameis Winston in here. Why are we still letting this guy who can't do anything? This guy can't throw to save his life. Like, if you could put like whatever you wanted in front of Deshaun Watson, and he couldn't throw it. I always joke that he couldn't throw he couldn't hit the ocean if he was in the middle of it. He just kind of sucks, and I don't think this team wants to block for a guy who's like this. He sucks. He's obviously got allegations and stuff, has had all this stuff. He's not good anymore. I don't know what's wrong, and I don't think the offensive linemen really want to block for him anymore. And I think Jameis Winston has already won over the locker room, which is kind of crazy, but he does that, and I think they want to block for Jameis Winston. That's just my opinions, though, but if we look at the team and we look at that number 31 ranking I've given them and the consistent 30 across the power rankings, we suck. And it's a hard truth to accept, but we are not a good team right now. And something, I don't know what, maybe we need to just clean house, right? Drop Stefanski, drop Deshaun Watson. I know you can't really drop Deshaun Watson, but just bench him. I mean, take the cap hit. There's nothing you can do about it anymore, and bench him. And then, because again, next year we still have almost this entire core, which I know we might not want. But next year, only about 3 people are going into free agency. Everyone else is locked up for next year, and we have about $60 million in cap space. We have our own first-round pick. We have our own draft picks. Andrew Berry could do very good if he needed to. He could cook, I guess. All we need to do is, and I mean, hey, again, maybe I'm not a huge advocate for this, but I wouldn't. Wow, holy, I wouldn't complain. How about we play this season out? Because it looks like we're going to get about a top 10, top 7 pick. If we get, let's say, 7, we have more or less the choice of Quinn Ewers, and if we're lucky, Shedeur Sanders. I'm just saying, maybe we just need to deal with this sucky year and draft a quarterback. I know we haven't drafted a good quarterback in literally the entire existence of this entire team, but maybe Quinn Ewers isn't bad. He's a good quarterback. All of it's mental, it looks like. He's got the physical capabilities of being a good quarterback. He's got one of the best arm talents in college football right now. He has some mental problems, but that's, I think, workable. I think he can, if he gets to the NFL level, I think you can work out the mental problems. Shedeur Sanders doesn't seem terrible either. I think he could be a good pick. I would rather go with Quinn Ewers, honestly, because I like Quinn Ewers' arm talent a lot more than I like Shedeur Sanders' talent. But maybe we got to try again in drafting quarterbacks. And if we get a quarterback, right, we start him next year. I know you shouldn't really start rookies anymore. We have a good team. If Nick Chubb can stay healthy, if our wide receivers can stay healthy, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, aging Amari Cooper, but Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and aging Amari Cooper, that Thrash kid, and then the guy we drafted from Clemson, and then Nick Chubb and David Njoku, that's not a bad. And then maybe, and with our $60 million, buy some offensive linemen in the offseason. That's not a bad team. Maybe trade for some with our second and third round picks. You have something there. If our rookie quarterback, let's just say they do draft him, that rookie quarterback, if he can do good and he can perform and it's really not that hard to top Deshaun Watson, I'm just saying, and drop the coaching, play calling for Stefanski, things like that. If you can do that, I think this team could be a good team. Now, I thought we were going to win 13 games before the season started, and we are not going to do that. I'm just saying, next year, almost everyone will be back. We have almost 70 million in cap space that we can utilize. It won't be all that because we might drop a few people and stuff, or re-sign a few people, extend a few people, things like that. I'm just saying, maybe we need to just accept this year as a failure, get rid of Stefanski as play caller, let the defensive coordinators call their own plays, and draft a rookie quarterback and see what happens. Maybe we just got to do that. Maybe that's what you got to do sometimes. I mean, is it gonna be a perfect solution? Probably not. Is our rookie quarterback going to be great year one? Probably not. Are we going to lose 10 games next year still? Maybe. I don't know. But we have a good defense. We have a very good defense. We have a great running back, a good wide receiver core, pretty young too. They aren't old. Only Amari Cooper's old. A good tight end, a okay offensive line if they weren't all getting hurt and weren't playing really poorly, I think. And again, we can buy a lot of players. I'm just saying, that's my opinion. Maybe it's worth it to just pick a quarterback and deal with this season as a loss. But that is all I have for you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast very much. Please stay tuned for the Wednesday. It's Tuesday while I'm recording this, but whatever. For the Saturday episode for the next week. I hope you all enjoyed. I love you all. And I'll talk to you guys on the 12th, I believe. Yeah, the 12th. So, bye. Uh-oh. There we go.